Yeah, Kelly, the Fed chairman, speaking right now at one of those events where the Fed's taking public commentary and really on how it makes monetary policy. And he is noting that the unemployment rate is near a half-a-century low, which is exactly what I would have said if the chairman hadn't actually said it. He said inflation is running close to but a bit below the 2% objective. He calls the economy in a good place, which is a phrase that a lot of Fed folks have used. But it does face some risks and longer-term challenges, including low growth, low inflation, and low interest rates. And that low inflation gives the Fed a little less room to cut. And it's important, he says, to sustain the strong job market. We got a chance to talk to Eric Rosengren here in Boston. He's the Boston Fed president, about the job market just a few hours after the numbers came out. He was pretty upbeat, but said he's watching the numbers carefully.
We're getting to the point where we're getting about the kind of employment growth that I would expect in kind of a stable economy. I think the bigger question is whether it ends up being weaker from here, and that depends importantly on what happens on the consumer side of the economy.
Here's the numbers everybody's shouting about and trying to figure out what it all means for the economy. The number came in at 136,000. That was below the expectation of Wall Street, 145. Now, July and August revisions, usually that's a pretty good sign at 45,000, but a lot of that revision was from the government sector being revised up. Both the current report and prior one show the private sector is pretty weak. Average hourly wages, they were unchanged, though they were strong in the prior month. And there's that unemployment rate coming down to 3.5%. Folks, we got a big difference now between the household survey and the payroll survey, north of 1 million jobs. We'll have to figure that out over time. Labor force participation, that was constant at 63.2. We've got two arguments out there, folks. We've got this one argument that this is all, the weak jobs numbers are all about the inability to find workers. The other one say it's all about trade. Let me read you two comments that were out very quickly here. Pantheon says, this is as good as it's likely to get as long as the trade war is not resolved. Leading indicators point clearly to the trend slowing to just 50,000 or so by the end of the year. Finally, PNC says job growth has slowed this year due to a tight labor market. It made it more difficult for firms to hire and slower economic growth as well. So, guys, take your pick, and I will give you a fresh read now on where we are in the outlook for the Fed. A 75% chance of an October rate hike and a 42% one in December. So that's down a bit from before the number, Kelly.